Whew. Good morning. It is Saturday, March the 25th, 2023, and I'm here solo at Dry Falls, Washington. This is the kickoff of a weekend trip over here to the Grandest Coulee of Washington's Coulee country. The weather in the Cascades was not that good this weekend. Had plans to hopefully go climb Mount St. Helens. Did not work out so well. The weather does not care about anybody's feelings. So you just have to modify your plans to match the conditions. I plan on spending a little bit more time exploring this location. Then I'm going to head further up to the upper Grand Coulee. I'm going to backpack into Banks Lake Wildlife Area, find a place to spend the night tonight. I'm really looking for the solitude and quietness of this weekend, and hopefully everything goes out according to plan. So this here is the trail that I use to walk up and gain kind of this ledge between a couple of mesas here. And what you're looking at here at Dry Falls is what was once the biggest waterfall, I don't know, either in North America or the world, but it was pretty big. Imagine 300 feet of water rolling over that cliff over there, eating away at it further up the valley and sending it all down that way. You can see all the milk duds laying in the bottom of the coulee. They're just too heavy for the water to carry away. The upper Grand Coulee is up over that lip right there. I tried to get up on top of this mesa here, and I could do it, but I have a tripod and the camera, which would be an awkward move. You have to go up right here along that spine, and it just didn't seem safe to do and carry the camera equipment at the same time and being alone. So this is a good spot to introduce Grand Coulee. There's the highway over there, and then over there is the visitor center, which is actually a pretty cool spot. It has a different perspective of Dry Falls. Well, the visitor center sign confirms it. These are the skeletal remains of what once was the world's largest waterfall. I don't imagine it like a Niagara Falls scene, more like a bump in the surface with an incredible amount of water flowing out of Montana, flowing downstream. Over here on this side, the Okanagan lobe would have been behind us. I was just standing over there on that side a little bit ago, my morning walk. And now we're starting to look downstream where the water was going to enter the lower Grand Coulee. Remember, the water ate away at the basalt from downstream up this way. We have a really good visitor center here at Dry Falls. And on the wall is this painting with the artist's rendition of this section of the Great Floods. Here's the water moving down the Grand Coulee. Here's the lower Grand Coulee. Here's the upper Grand Coulee, which holds Banks Lake now.
There's the Okanagan lobe of the Canadian ice sheet. And the mesa that I was trying to get on this morning is right there. It's called Umatilla Rock. And now I'm ready to go drive up the upper Grand Coulee.
Well, good afternoon. I made my drive up the upper Grand Coulee through Electric City, and I made my way down to the mouth of Barker Canyon. There's a nice trailhead and parking area there with a boat launch, and I have accessed Banks Lake Wildlife Area. I'm going to head off to the north here and hopefully find a pretty nice spot to set up camp. I got the idea to go camping here from my friend Andrew Corder from Northwest Wanderer. Check out his YouTube channel. I might even find the exact spot that he camped in and spend the night there tonight. I already like it. It's a gorgeous area. It's really quiet, and I think I'm pretty much the only one out here right now. So should be exciting. Looking forward to spending a night under the stars tonight. Here we go. Amazingly gorgeous layers of Columbia River flood basalts and all of their contorted columns and patterns that they've been frozen in for millions of years since they flowed in and settled horizontally, just like the layers of a German chocolate cake. Except over here there's something different going on. The rock looks vastly different, and it's more like the backdrop of a Da Vinci painting. And just following this abandoned road kind of this way underneath of these flood basalts here, and the significance of this place is about to hit. It's regional. Here we have the horizontal Columbia River flood basalts, but right here is the granite bedrock that the basalt flowed on top of. And we've reached a boundary. This is the end, or near the end, of the Columbia River flood basalt region, and the beginning of the granites that make up most of the Okanagan Highlands and the Rocky Mountains stretching to the north and east, kind of from this area. Gorgeous spot. All this eastern Washington granite. And it's showing you what eastern Washington, almost all of it, probably looked like millions of years before all the basalt encased it in a tomb. It is in some places 2 miles thick of German chocolate cake. I wonder if I'm witnessing the victim of a lightning strike. This pine tree looks like a matchstick. Waboom! I think I'm reaching the top of the knoll though. I'll very soon get a view of something when I make my way to the top of that notch. Might even head up here in this direction just to see what I can see. I'm just making my way up through these benches and flat portions in the bedrock. I came upon this cleft of rock. Has a pretty good sized pond in it. Potential camping area right there. It's a nice flat spot for a tent. Got water and all you need right there. It's tempting. And then I just poked my head up over this way here. It's one of the coolest views I've ever had of Steamboat Rock. I've kind of attained this high point. It's given me a really awesome view of the surrounding area. I'm standing on very beautiful, solid, smoothed out granite. You can see the cliffs of the Columbia River flood basalts beyond over there. But eventually they thin out and it becomes nothing but granite further on beyond up there in those foothills. I don't know if you can see them. They're kind of covered with snow and weather's moving in over there. But those are the Okanagan Highlands. And that is where the Columbia River flood basalt province comes to an end. An entirely new region of geology and Washington kind of begin. Look at the giant current ripples on the floor of that coulee right there. The next objective is to get down to this arm of water and get onto the other side over there. Find a place to set up camp. I just dropped down out of that cleft in the granite. I've made my way down here and the route worked. Fun little up and over. And I'm down next to the water now. Looks like I might get some weather here. It's making for some very gorgeous lighting right now. I'm loving it. Just gotta make my way to the other side of this waterway. So the route I was following just naturally led down into this gap in the granite, and I took it, and I just started coming downhill, and it led to this nice little platform nestled up against the lake. It's really peaceful right here. There's lots of nice pine trees. There's these mini cliffs of granite right up against the water. It's really calm. It's really peaceful. I think this is the camp. I'm gonna start setting up and getting ready to spend the night here. Well, the day is winding down rather quickly. It's amazing how fast time flies when you're having fun. I was pretty much busy from sunup till this point, checking out all the different parts of the Grand Coulee, from its lower section at Dry Falls, all the way up here to the granite boundary that kind of begins the next region of Washington. It's an outstanding place to come check out and camp. I'm really happy I came here. Did something new. I was struggling going forward to follow through with this backup plan. My brain kept talking me out of it because the drive mostly, it's a long ways to come up here, but I'm really glad I did. It's a peaceful spot, it's serene, the water's really calm right now. It's making me think of my friend Andrew. It was pretty warm today around the noon hours, between noon and 2. I was kind of hanging out at the parking lot, organizing my gear, just kind of taking my time today. It was really warm when I first got started on the backpack in. Then as soon as I got to the spot here, the temperature really dropped and it got chilly. I'm sure it's hovering right around 32 degrees right now. That nasty weather to the north there has been lingering all afternoon. Keep on thinking it's going to rain, but it hasn't moved down. And even if it does, I'll just crawl in my tent and be nice and comfortable in there. It'll be nice. I'm going to spend the rest of the daylight hours just sitting here looking at the lake, unwinding my brain, and getting ready to go back into town tomorrow. As much as I can, when I'm out in places like this, I always try to just make time slow down as much as I can and savor the moment and just enjoy it while it lasts. I love beautiful things, and this is definitely a beautiful moment I'm finding myself in right now. Look at this perfect little dome of exfoliating granite. As weight is removed off of the top of it, layers of it, like an onion, pop off and weather away. You can see here how just little sheets of it are flaking off. Since it was formed at deep pressures underground, and also since it was probably buried by basaltic lava flows, and then when those flows are probably removed, the rock expands as the weight is removed off of the top of it, and that causes little sheets to pop off and break away. Little slabs at a time. It gives it this rounded appearance. Don't know if you can make them out, but those are the giant current ripples that I saw from the high point yesterday, and I'm kind of walking through them. In fact, I think I'm on the crest of a big one right now. You can tell by the wave the water was moving this way, or coming right at me. Up there on the top of that plateau, on the far horizon, would have been the Okanagan ice lobe. You definitely would have seen it from here. And now coming into view is the breach where there was kind of an ice dam that blocked off the Columbia River for a moment, and it diverted it down the Grand Coulee, as well as diverting one period of great cataclysmic floods. Right through that gap right there. It would have come down Lake Roosevelt or from this direction and then right at us. And then down to the south, down the Grand Coulee. And you can see more of these current ripples just on this giant plain here in front of me. Lots of meadowlarks. Really like their sound. Here's another really good view of these current ripples. The water would have been coming right at us from this angle. And you can see this younger creek bed that is cut into the ripples and across them heading out to Banks Lake. There's easily 5 or 6 giant ripples between me and the lake. And the water was coming out of the breach and the flood basalts in the upper left-hand corner of the shot there. All right, I've made it back down to the shores of Banks Lake. It is right behind me over here. This trip is quickly winding down and just in time for sunlight to start poking through the thick layer of clouds above me. A new favorite spot of mine in eastern Washington. Definitely can't wait to come back. It's an excellent spot to travel and explore another path of ancient Ice Age floods. As you're driving up Barker Canyon Road and you leave the actual canyon and the Grand Coulee, you get up on top of this vast plateau. It's to the northwest of the Grand Coulee and Banks Lake, and this would have been the extreme margin of the Okanagan lobe of the Coeur d'Alene ice sheet. They know it because of the striations, the drumlins, and all the moraines and foreign erratics in this area. This was ground zero right here. And you get to the spot where the Okanagan ice lobe was, and you start finding all these foreign rocks, like this beautiful piece of gneiss right here. There's all kinds of erratics up here on this part of the plateau. Right here you can see a good section
of glacial erratics. Those giant boulders there were actually probably embedded in the ice sheet, and then as it receded and melted back, they dropped and fell out of it, and they've been in that spot ever since.